Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am doing my December wrap up. I have read 70 books in the month of December. That is actually the most books I've read, but I've read a lot of novellas. So that's why it's 17 books. I read, I think maybe 5 novellas. All of them Christmas. There were lots of Christmas novellas. I think I only read maybe like 1 or 2 full length Christmas books. So the first book I read in December is Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. In November, I read Fragile Sanctuary. Okay, I discovered Catherine Cowles from that book. I've been seeing everyone talk about this series. I think it's called like the Sparrow Falls series, but I've been hearing people rave about the series, saying it's so good. A lot of people rated like 5 stars. Me, I am one of those people. I rated Fragile Sanctuary 5 stars, and then Delicate Escape I rated 4.5 stars, maybe like 4.75. It didn't quite give me like the whole like 5-star feel, just because I love Anson and Rhodes, who is the first couple in Fragile Sanctuary. So for those of you who don't know, Catherine Cowles is a romantic suspense author. I think just about all of her books have been romantic suspense. And actually this month I have read 2 of her books. I actually read a new book. We'll get into that later. Like, this was so good. This is like a friends to lovers, friends, brothers romance, forced proximity, and then there's that whole suspense aspect. She just gets me every time. She's so good. So if you guys have not read the Sparrow Falls series, you need to. I think one more book that's out, which is Broken Harbor. I haven't read that one yet. It will be soon. I believe that's also like a hockey romance. I'm really excited for that. So I'll be reading that soon. And then there is another one that's not quite out yet. I think it's called Beautiful Exile. I'm loving this series so much. And then for my first Christmas novella I read in December, I read Christmas at Fox Ridge by Bailey Hanna. So she is the author of this like cowboy romance series. There's Alive and Wells and then Chasing Red. This is her like Christmas novella. I rated 3.25 stars. So it's like forced proximity. It's also best friend's brother and kind of like second chance. And this was really fun to read. I love it. The spice was good. I did like the 2 main characters. I mean, I'm not in love with them, but I did really like them. So I definitely think that you should add this little like Christmas novella for next Christmas because it was so cute. And then I read The Pucking Wrong Number by C.R. Jane. So this is my first book by this author. It is a dark hockey romance, and I rated it 2.75 stars. So there were parts of this book that I liked. I enjoyed the spice. The spice was good, but I don't know, like for me, it wasn't what I was expecting it to be. Like parts of this book was kind of boring. And then there were parts of the book that was like, okay, all right, maybe it's going to pick up. And it did for a little bit. And then I got bored again. So I rated it 2.75 just because I really enjoyed the spice. Like I liked the little spice we got. And then I read Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. And I rated this 3.75 stars, okay? I really liked this. This was really good. Are we surprised? Because it's Ali Hazelwood. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Like, this was just so good. I loved the characters. I loved the wintry, Christmassy vibes. I really loved it. Oh my goodness. I love Ali Hazelwood so much. So this is like a friend's brother, second chance romance. It was more emotional. Like, there was a point in this little novella where I was like, am I tearing up right now? And just like this tiny little novella. Like, it was so quick. Each book is a different author. And they're just really short. I think they're like 100 pages or less. And I want to say this one's maybe like 150. I think this one's the longest one out of the whole series. And it's my favorite one out of the series. I think there's 2 more books. So like I haven't read the last 2 in it, but I have read like 3. And then I read Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, which is the second book to A Cruel Winter with You, like the novella series by different authors. I rated it 2 stars. I did not like this. And I really didn't like the whole, okay, they talked about pants. MMC, he can't find his pant size because he's just so massive. I don't like, he's really, really tall, you know, got buff. I don't know. He's just like, it's just not my vibe, what was going on. Like, it was a little cringy about what was happening in the book. So I didn't really like it. And then I read Lights Out by Navessa Allen. And this is like my first dark romance rom-com. And I need to read more because this was so much fun. So I rated it 3.75. It might be a 4. I might change it to a 4 because I really liked this. But I'm gonna be honest with you. There were short parts. Like it didn't go on forever. Like, I wasn't bored throughout most of this book, but where there were little instances in here where I was kind of bored a little bit. That's why I rated it 3.75 stars. But overall, I really did enjoy this book. Like, this was a lot of fun. And Josh, hilarious. He is hilarious. He is like my favorite MMC. He had me cracking up. Like, are you kidding me? I was laughing out loud. I really was. I can't wait for Caught Up, which is about, I think, Allie's cousin. Oh no, I didn't realize it's got a little tear. No. Josh makes like thirst trap videos. I know. And Allie follows him. She has no idea who he is. She's never seen his face. And he finds out that she watches him. And he has like this obsession with her. Like, he really, really likes her. So yeah, I definitely have to read some more like dark romance rom-coms because this was so funny. So funny. I can't wait for Caught Up. That's gonna be really fun to read. And then I read Merriment and Mayhem. Did I say that right? I don't even know. By Alexandria Belfler. I want to say that's how you say her last name. Which is like the third book in that little Christmas holiday wintry novellas. I also rated this one 2 stars. Yeah, I don't know. Just this one is kind of boring. And this one could also be a little cringy. I mean, it's like a firefighter romance. So like the MMC is a firefighter. The FMC is very clumsy. Like, she gets into a lot of situations that she keeps getting the fire department called on her because she's always ends up in these situations where she needs like a fireman. And the MMC happens to be a fireman, so he's like constantly getting her out of these situations. I'm currently editing this, and I just want to point out that what I find cringy about the book isn't the fact that the FMC always gets into these situations and that there's a fireman that she needs to rescue her all the time. That's not what I find cringe. I actually like the whole fireman romances. Those are fun to read. There were just certain parts in the book that I just found to be a little boring or just wasn't my taste. It just didn't vibe with me. I just want to clarify that. I want to say this was like less than 100 pages, so it's very short, very quick. And then I read Wyatt by Jessica Peterson. This is the second book to the Lucky Rivers Ranch series. It is a cowboy romance series, and it was so good. I rated it 4.5 stars. So the first one is Cash, which is enemies to lovers, and it's about Cash and Molly. And then this one, Wyatt, is friends to lovers, and it's about Wyatt and Sally, who have been friends since they were kids. Wyatt has always had a thing for Sally, has always like loved her, but he doesn't want to admit it because he doesn't want to lose her friendship. The way that he actually shows that he loves her, but it kind of goes right over her head. But he shows that he loves her in all of the little things and even the big things that he does, because he will literally do anything she asks. She will just say, "Can I have a favor?" And he's like, "Done." This was a lot of fun. I can't wait for the third book, which is going to be about Sawyer. He is a single father. It's single mother, single father. So I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be so much fun. And then I read Visions and Shadows by Michelle Hurd. So this was actually my first PR package from Chasing Books PR. They just launched recently, and this is my first PR package from them. This was so exciting. I was literally like so like screamed when I saw this. It was so excited. But this is a romantasy. This is like a friends to lover. This is like a friends to lovers guardian romance. A week before my 18th birthday, the guy I'm catching feelings for legit tosses me through a waterfall, only for me to find out everything I thought I knew is nothing but a lie. My name is Altura, and 5 years ago, my people wiped my memories and abandoned me at a waterfall, so I'd learn what it's like to be human. Turns out I have the destiny of saving humankind and a hotter-than-hell guardian to help me through the nightmare I have to face. Adapting to a life of brutal training was not on my list of things to do after graduating, but the 10 chosen ones depend on me, and I have no choice but to suck it up and do everything I'm told. Trying to survive the new world I've been thrown into, I have to cope with my guardian, who can hear my every thought. Besides that, people are out to torture me for information about the visions I receive. I'm not so sure I'm cut out for this. This was like a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. There were parts in here where I was like, that were like just a smidge cringe, but I still really enjoyed it. Like, I ate this up. Did not take me long to finish this, and it's like kind of short too. It's how many pages? Oh, Michelle Hurd has also written a lot of books. She has like a lot of book series. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check those out. She writes contemporary romances. I'm gonna have to check that out. So there's gonna be 3 books in this series. It's called the Valbara series. That's where like the fantasy realm is. So there's the human realm and then there's the fantasy realm. So this is Visions and Shadows, and then it goes the Land of Shadows, and then A Light in the Shadows. So I'm excited where that's gonna go. Ooh, she also has a mafia romance series. Oh man, I'm gonna have to check her out. My goodness. Yeah, I highly recommend this fantasy book. This was so good. And then I read Bloodlust by E.L. Lewis. So the first book I read by E.L. Lewis was Milo, and that's a mafia romance. So I read that as an arc. This one I also read as an arc. Milo had rated like 5 stars. By the way, Milo, like, I didn't read that in December. I'm just letting you know that, like, I think a few months ago I had read that as an arc, and obsessed with that book. That is like, I still think about that book from time to time. This one, Bloodlust, was also really good. I rated it 4.75 stars. It didn't give me quite the same feeling I got when I read Milo, but it was still really good. And instead of the MMC being the badass, it's the FMC who is the badass, because she is so feisty and she has a bit of anger issues. So by the court, they are making her take like anger management classes, or seeing like a counselor, like an anger management counselor. And that's when Dr. Hayden Malcolm comes in, the MMC, the romance interest in this book. And I love him. I love him so much. So they sort of connect on like a really like deeper level. The twist that happened in this book, there were like 2 of them. 2 twists in here that had me like what? And then the ending of this had me crying. Like, I actually was tearing up because that, like, why? But I highly recommend you add this. This is like a mafia romance. She's really good. Like, E.L. Lewis is really good at her mafia romances. They are a lot of fun to read. And then I read The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. She is the author of the Ravenhood trilogy, and I haven't read that trilogy yet. I will be soon, though, because I'm dying to read that. This is my first book by her, and it's a Christmas book. I had no idea she wrote a Christmas book. And I rated it 5 stars. Like, I have never rated a Christmas book 5 stars before. And this was that. This was so good. I did not want to put this book down. So it's a second chance romance. 17 years go by, okay? So like the 2 main characters, they dated in college. And then 17 years goes by and they end up spending Christmas together with the FMC's family, because he gets invited there by her brother. So it's kind of like forced proximity. So they spend all this time together, and there are still like those lingering feelings because he was like her first love. And same for him. And the way that this book was funny, but also so much emotion. It had like deeper topics. This was just so good. And then after I read The Plight Before Christmas, I read The Slight Before Christmas, which is about, what's her name? Thatcher, or I guess it's Thatch. I think that's how you say it, Thatch. And Serena. Serena is, oh my goodness, I can't remember the FMC. Whitney. I believe it's Whitney. Okay, so Whitney is from The Plight Before Christmas. The Slight Before Christmas is about Whitney's older sister, Serena. So Serena and Thatch are married and they have two kids that are 13 and I think like 3 or 4. And those kids, oh my goodness, terrible children. They are horrible. And they are making it so like Serena and Thatch's marriage is like they just want to reconnect, but their kids are making it really hard to do that, like because they are getting into so much trouble. They are causing like ruckus in the house. So it's basically like a rekindling a marriage, and I really, really liked it. And you get like the backstory, so there's like timelines. It jumps from like the past to the present, just like The Plight Before Christmas does the same exact thing. And you get more into Thatch's background, and I wasn't expecting that to be his background. Like, oh my goodness, poor Thatch. Like, I felt so much for him. This one was also, again, funny, but had so much depth and emotion and just so much more to the story than just the humor. By the way, I also rated it 5 stars. But I feel like this is going to be like 2 Christmas books I'm probably going to read every year. Like, they're going to be my comfort Christmas reads. I highly recommend you add this to your Christmas TBR for next year because you need to read these both of these books. Like, you need to read them. And then I read All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. So I read this as an arc. I think it comes out January 7th. And I rated it 5 stars. Like, okay, another good romantic suspense. It just had me so captivated. And it's about, okay, so the FMC in here, Ridley, right? She is a true crime podcaster. And then the MMC, Colt, is the sheriff of this small town. And when she goes to that small town, she meets Colt. And at first, they don't get off on the right foot. So it's like enemies to lovers in the beginning, but it's not like intense enemies to lovers, like true enemies to lovers. The attraction is there though. They are both super attracted to each other. When you do get to that like first time, when they finally get together for the first time, I loved it so much. But their relationship and their dynamic in here was perfection. I loved it so much. And then when we finally got to like the whole like nitty-gritty of the story where everything kind of unravels and just unfolds, the bad guy in the book, I was not expecting him at all. I did expect this other guy. And then the very ending, like the epilogue, I love the epilogue. That was so cute. Catherine Cowles has become like my favorite author. Like, she writes such good romantic suspense. I am about to binge all of her books. Like, I need to read all of her backlist immediately. And then I read Santa's Coming by Serena Pierre. I didn't rate this one because I didn't necessarily love it, but I also didn't not love it. You know what I mean? Like, in the middle. And I didn't rate it because it's a novella. It's very, very short. I think it was like maybe 30 or 40 pages. And I enjoyed it though. I really did. I loved all the like Santa and Christmassy references and like puns and stuff. I thought that was really fun and cute. And that's really all I have to say about it because it's not long. It's literally like, I think 40 or 50 pages, maybe even only 30. I can't even remember. So it's really short. So I really don't have a lot to say about it. Just know that I did enjoy it. It's spicy. It's not like super spicy, but there is spice in it. And then I read The Mistletoe Bet by Maren Moore, which is another Christmas novella. I did this 3 stars. This was really fun also. This is a brother's best friend romance. I was gonna say second chance, but I don't think it's a second chance. But it's a brother's best friend romance. They end up making a bet because the FMC in here, I'm so sorry, I'm so bad at names. I can't use my phone to look up the characters because I'm recording on my phone. So I got nothing here. I don't have the physical copy to tell you the names. But the FMC in here, she does not like Christmas. And the MMC, who is a doctor, by the way, and he makes a bet with her that in the week that she is back in the small town, because she lives in New York, but she's back in their small town. I think it's called like Strawberry Hollow. by the way, that's an adorable name. Like, I want to live there. I want to live in Strawberry Hollow. The MMC makes a bet with the FMC for the week that she is staying in the small town that he is going to convince her that she loves Christmas. Like, he is going to make her love Christmas. And of course, with that, they're hanging out like every day, spending all this time together. What better way to do that than hook up, right? So that's what they do. And it was good. Like, the spice in here was really good. You know, all of these Christmas novellas that I've read, they're spicy. They are just spicy. Like, there's not like a specific plot to the story. It's just spice. But it's really good spice. So, yeah. And then I read The Wrong Bride by Katerina Mora. I rated this 5 stars. Okay, so like, this was so good. And the pain that this book made me feel, like, are you kidding me? So this is about Eris and Raven. And Eris is arranged to marry Raven's sister, Hannah. But Eris actually does love Hannah. Like, they are actually together. They are dating. And Raven is in love with Eris and has been in love with him for forever. And it's killing her to see Hannah and Eris together and knowing that they're together and they're going to be married soon. Hannah eventually actually backs out of the wedding. She calls it off. Eris's family and Raven's family want to merge their families together, and I think like their businesses. So he either has to marry Hannah or marry Raven. So because Hannah backed out, he has to marry Raven. The pain that I felt because Hannah was just not letting go, and I don't like her one bit. But the romance that blossomed between Raven and Eris, love that. And then the last book I read in December was The Temporary Wife by Katerina Mora, which is the second book in the Windsor Brothers series. This is the second book to The Wrong Bride. This one's about Luca and Valentina. Boss assistant, workplace romance, arranged marriage. Luca actually ends up having to be engaged to someone else, but not for very long. He doesn't want to be engaged to this person. He really wants to be engaged to Valentina. So he ends up like propositioning her into actually marrying him instead. Okay, so I rated this 4 stars. I liked it. I didn't love it like I love The Wrong Bride. The Wrong Bride is gonna live rent-free in my head. It's gonna live rent-free in my head. Because the whole time I was reading The Temporary Wife, I was thinking about Eris and Raven. I couldn't help it. They were all I thought about. But I did still really like it. It gives off like the whole like my wife vibes, you know. Don't touch my wife. You know, only I can touch my wife. that type of vibe. But it was really good. So yeah, those were all the books that I've read in December. I've already started The Unwanted Marriage. I'm currently reading that, so you'll see that in my January wrap up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.